step of their adventure, a few things have happened to cause, a bit of concern. But I'm gonna say what happened with that a little bit later. Uh, while your team went to the school and made sure that everything that they wanted to learn, like magic, new skills, and new tricks of the trade, were there, uh, Nara, while you yourself went to the school and accompanied a few people here and there, what exactly would Nara try to do?
What exactly would I try to do?
Yeah, are you gonna try to learn a new skill set? Are you gonna try to learn more fighting styles? Maybe like work with more natural magic, more uh, dark, decrepit magic, maybe more holy magic, something like that.
More natural magic.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
So you likely would have gone to the Druid class. The Druid class had two separate classes. One dealt with the primary nature of nature itself, and the other one did work with the concept of how to heal with the natural order of law. What two sides of the coin were you more leaning towards?
I would say the first option, more likely.
All right. Um. Then I'm just gonna put you in class for a second there.
Yeah.
While studying some more natural aspects of the world itself, you can ignore the skeleton. The skeleton's fake, if you can see it.
Okay. Okay.
Uh, the professor currently is teaching the students how the natural order of things happen, the decay and of nature itself. One of the students raises their hand. Professor, is that a real? No, the professor simply states, "No, it's there for prop to make sure you're aware of how skeletal decomposition works. If we, kept a dead body here, that would start to smell fast, and then we would need more dead bodies, and at that point, that's just gross." But he continues on with the lecture about how natural orders and things come about, and the wear and tear of how changes and flows of that natural order react due to other things coming into contact with it. Uh, During your break, or at least during your lunchtime, you went off with the other students, your companions, and they headed towards the library. While in the library, you could have figured out a few other things, like research something here and there. Would there be anything you would be researching?
No. I'm pretty oh, well. There's nothing specifically that I would want to research. I don't really know what I'd really want to do. I guess just a wide variety, mainly.
Yeah. Would you be researching magical stuff, maybe item stuff, maybe combat skills, or how to?
Magic.
Yeah. There are a few tricks of the trade here and there that you could probably figure out. I want you to go ahead and roll Arcana.
Yeah.
It's not bad. It's not great, but it's not bad. Looking through the concept of the book itself, or at least various books, you start to get a grasp of how natural magic works and things of that nature. You go with the already plan you were going with the class you were currently in, and you find a few subjects here and there. You don't study up on one thing specifically, but you do find the natural way of summoning a familiar, the natural order of law and healing magic, the natural order of life and death, and the concept of druid warlock magic. So these concepts are there in your mind. You're not fully memorizing this information. It's just you're getting a grasp of this stuff. But when you return back to class after lunch, or do you return back to the class you were in, or do you go to a separate class? They're still teaching you stuff in that class. It's just I'm wondering if you're gonna go to another elective. Currently the classes the other ones went to was with Becky and Uh, afterwards, uh, Becky and Tempest went to a strength and dexterity class. Uh, Dan went to a class with on water walking. Ray went
Mhm.
to a necromancy class, and uh, Michael went to a class on insight and intelligence.
I'll probably go with Ray's character. Oddly
Uh,
enough.
okay, things might have played out differently if you were here. Well, first off, due to the first class you went to, you do gain something.
Okay.
I'm just gonna look at your character sheet. Well, with the first looking into the natural order of law and things like that, you do gain proficiency in nature. So I already added that for you. So instead of a +2, you now gain a +4.
We.
And while you weren't here for this topic, when you go to when you go to the necromancy class to figure out a few things here and there, the professor currently is there because they currently got fired. More on that later. The 10 or 20 minutes before class started, you managed to get there, learn some of the other students' names here and there. You did meet with the professor. The professor is more or less not nice to you. They are known as Vorn. They themselves are a more or less gangly, tall man with a more prudent attitude towards anyone of the female variety and any peasantry. They're not a nice person, but they do teach the class well if you can put up with that, which is likely why he's still a teacher. When learning classes in the concepts of bringing things back to life, right now they were working on Revivify and stabilizing life. Nara, I want you to go ahead and roll nature. And, ironically, religion. Since you were just studying with nature, you do gain proficiency, but 22. Sorry, I meant advantage on either one.
Oh.
I'm assuming you're going to take it on the religion.
Yes.
Yeah. Makes sense. Looking at this and dealing with the concept, like, it's gross when what he does. He basically brings out a pig. Right now, it looks immediately frightened. He kind of stabs it, and then gets like one of you. I'm gonna say Nara. You immediately try to heal it. You put your hands over it and you begin to stitch the wounds back together. Not with magic and not with like death magic. Either way, it's more like using its own energy of the cellular body of the pig to re-knit itself to heal itself before it can, expire. So you're not drawing out magic from yourself, and you're not drawing out magic from some dark entity. You're drawing out magic from the life essence of the being while it's still alive. So with your second class, Nara, you now gain proficiency if you didn't have it with medicine, and you don't.
Medicine.
So I will now add that to you.
Thank you, thank you.
Okay. And going back to a now recap. Immediately in the area, you do hear like a massive scream of a small little girl. Someone in the hallways begins to rush up into the hallways, shouting out that quickly. What was this speech pattern like again? They run up and they suddenly say, help me! Some strange deranged maniac is trying to kill me! Immediately you hear like crashing, banging, clanging. You hear a lot of broken glass coming into the area. Eventually, it is discerned that Ray tried to stab this kid. And eventually it came to light that Ray was lying when they didn't know what they were doing. And, they seemed to be going in a darker path. Eventually, your team and the rest of the gang, this is now everyone in tow, decided to, more or less come up with a way of speaking with Ray about going to a darker path. The teacher that was teaching you Vorn did try to stop Ray by, more or less killing them, but obviously would bring them back. At least that's what they said. And, because of injuring a student, they got fired.
Mm-hmm.
So the next thing that happened is Becky, Tempest, Micah, and Quinn, but I don't know if you guys consider Quinn a friend or a companion or a group or part of the group. He knows you don't second time you guys met him again. But you guys began to console him, her, uh, Ray, about this whole entire concept and, trying to help out. Doesn't listen, goes back down to where Vorn is after they got fired. Basically stabs him in the back. So immediately, bam, Ray hits the ground, basically dead. Tempest and Micah manage to revive her. And then afterwards, everyone goes into a nice, cool council session with the principal of the school. A lot happened. A lot of it was action and reaction kind of things. Basically, all you missed was people were learning a good amount of stuff. A lot of people did learn a few things. Ray,
I learned that I'm really good at necromancy.
Ray's really good at necromancy, but
Yeah, what the hell?
like they were rolling honestly really well in that class. The
A
problem,
19 and a 20 on necromancy, and then I failed every other roll.
yeah,
That happened.
yeah. The problem is they're beginning to now look at life like it's worthless as long as the outcome is assured.
Oh yeah, it's great.
So
It's annoying for us.
with your basic counselor basically stating, try to see things in various lights rather than just your own, as that could be clouded. Ray, you can take that however you will. I do believe I know how you'll take it. But either way, you were basically given an alternative to not have your team / the people you came with, because you came with a royal, expelled from the school. Your team can decide to either participate in the tournament match tomorrow with the School of Aquas that will be coming in tomorrow. Formerly, it was supposed to be the Royals and her companions. You kind of got her kicked out, and more or less Tempest and Becky, probably Micah too. I don't know if Dan kind of understands that. Real's really bad about that. So the principal gave you a day to consider what to do. Since you guys are technically visitors, he can only basically suspend you for a while, or permanently if he has to. So he's giving you an option, and this is kind of me just saying, okay, you guys really messed up, and I'm not going to punish you by punishing someone else. You can do it, or you can live with the consequences. So now you find yourselves at the dorm. With the question in mind on what to do next. And this is where we start.
Hey guys, I'll be right back. And I walk away.
So all things considered, I think everything's gone really well so far.
Ray, what universe?
Where am I?
You
Wait.
stabbed a professor afterwards. After just trying to stab a student.
Well, he's not a professor. He was fired.
I think he's still a professor until the sun sets.
Well, then, did any of you stab a, very strong individual? No, only me.
That's not something to be proud of.
That seems like an enemy thing to do. Like a bad guy. I'm going to smash you to death type
I
of way.
fought a very strong individual, and I'm still alive. I feel pretty good about myself right
Thanks to Micah.
now.
How did the other guy
How
did the other guy fare? Is the other guy hurt?
Yeah, heck, stabbed him. I stabbed him with this knife really deep.
Did anyone see it?
Dan did, but I don't. Dan, did you even know what was going on?
Dan didn't
I was
see
in
it.
the woods.
He was in the woods.
Was
You
he
were
there?
in the
No,
fountain.
at a game he was in the fountain, but Dan was talking with him. He did not see, you shanking him in the back because he didn't have line of sight. So it's Dan, so who knows what was in his mind.
I wasn't paying attention to much.
Bruh.
Well,
Well, I can tell you for sure, I definitely stabbed him this time. Unlike the other person, which I couldn't quite get a handle on my knife.
Either way,
But I'll keep practicing, though.
Again, I am not for what you're doing, says Quinn. But if you're gonna do it, I don't know, to an enemy rather than random people you meet on the street.
Oh, exactly. I realized that I should wait. Becky told me this. You can get away with murder if you bait them into attacking you first.
No,
see, that's twisting my words. I never said that. I said if someone attacks you, then you can kill them.
you can defend yourself, Ray. Murder is
Not
still
baiting
murder.
people.
That's still illegal.
I feel like that's semantics at that point.
No.
I know at that point I will be able to get enough practice in, and I feel like I found something that I'm really good at.
You
Do
can
you
see.
think you're evil?
What?
Are you evil?
I'm not evil. Have I ever killed someone yet?
Have you
I mean-
tried?
He wouldn't have been dead in the end. I would have brought him. You know.
Do you
it's
think people
semantics
should be
at that point.
prosecuted for attempted murder?
Okay.
Killing someone and still bringing them back does not remove you killing someone. I mean, you
know,
can
I
slap a
feel
puppy
like-
and then save them from a burning building, but you still slap that puppy.
Ray, maybe you could direct all this energy and let's take on that fight tomorrow.
Oh yeah, I
Um,
definitely
less
will be there to
student
heal you
killing.
guys. Oh yeah, no. Again, don't forget that we're not allowed to kill them.
I mean, we can't kill people that we've said we wouldn't kill, like in a fight, you know? But if it's like someone trying to stab
I'll put
us,
it over to the other screen.
It's fine. You can continue on this conversation until you reach a good pausing point.
Well,
look,
just
Ray, I have this question.
uh-huh.
If I can convince you that you're the most evil one in the group,
Mm-hmm.
or someone can convince you, would you not just murder people randomly and maybe only have your experiments on people that I
that's what
knock
I'm
out who
saying.
are bad?
I learned to not do it because I'm not good at killing, but you are. And so now we can combine forces, even though I'm still mad at you.
Yes,
but
but
this time, when you smash someone in front of me, I can practice bringing them back.
for 5 gold each.
Not going to agree to that.
Okay, then I will not allow you to perform on anyone that I've knocked out, unless you pay me 5 gold.
Ray, every time you bring somebody back, though, you get darker and darker.
And I have not successfully brought